3, 2, 1, go.
All right, so now let's bring this over into Blender, but first we need to prepare it so it doesn't get all messed up in Blender. So one thing to know about Blender is, unless you can change it, it organizes everything by name. So everything is good here. I'm just gonna do another quick save. I'm gonna get rid of the lights because sometimes whether I get rid of them or not, they just show up in Blender and it just gets confusing. The eyelashes, those don't need to be, I'm going to decimate those. So let's see, so if you go here and you go to miscellaneous, you can decimate because the eyebrows we'll just put to 2. Let me go to clay so I can see everything clearly, because these are just black, so it doesn't really make that much of a difference. Okay, 490, how big is this? We can probably decimate this too, so I'll go here, miscellaneous, we'll decimate the mushrooms as well. I think everything else is good. Floor is good. Yeah, everything else is pretty good. Okay, 461 isn't too bad. So let's go ahead and go to our layers. So we have the head, and we need to bring all of our layers down to the base. So you just need to commit to whatever colors and stuff you have. Eyelashes, teeth. So everything is, so there's no layers. There should be no of those green things or purple things. Okay, everything looks good. Make sure everything is labeled nicely. That looks good. So now we'll just go down to, oh, actually, I'm not sure if I want to move the head. I don't think I can move the head too much because everything is connected to it. So since that's the case, I'm going to take the head and the body and just, and the hood. No, you know what? I'm not going to do the hood because I might want to have a different texture on that. So I don't want to join them, but we'll join these two. So that'll be the body, that's good. And we have the eye dots, and then these other dots. What are these called? So I'm just going to put those together with the eye dots because those can be the same color. So then we have the teeth, and everything else can be separate. So this isn't bad. So we don't have too many layers. So now we'll just go to the little folder and we want to do GLTF. We'll do all, export. So Aqua color, I'm just going to export it to my computer and then we'll hop over to Blender. All right, welcome. So here is the file that we brought over. So we sent it as a GLTF. Of course, it changes to GLB. Things like this happen just to make it a little more confusing. That's just the nature of 3D. So just know that it's a GLB. So now we'll open up Blender. Let's drag it up here. So I have a preset like scene. This is available on my Patreon, and I think I'm actually going to upload it to Skillshare as well. Because they have a new platform to upload digital stuff. So this would be good to get if you're new to Blender and you just want something like set up and like quick and easy. Okay, so first let me open up, all of these files aren't in here, by the way, because I had to take everything off my computer. Cross lights might still be here. Oh, it found it, good. Okay, so now we're in Blender and this is cross lights. I like to use the animation tab because I like to have 2 windows. So let's go ahead and, I gotta remember how to use Blender now. We'll hit Z and then we will render. So this is the scene. You know, this is what it'll actually look like. And this is just the kind of flat version. So now let's let's import GLTF. What you can see, I guess GLB and GLTF are interchangeable. Okay, so we'll go to downloads, Aqua color, and we will import it. Okay, there we go. So now it's imported here. Let's take a closer look. So firstly, we have this other round thing that I have here. So I'm going to go ahead and hide that. And actually, okay, I think this is all our character. So I'm going to go ahead and drag it into turntable animation because eventually it's going to be a turntable. So now that I have everything selected, hopefully I can right click and shade smooth everything. That worked. And then I'm going to move everything up. I'll move it up a little bit. Okay, so now he's completely in the scene. All right, it looks good. I can't remember the... I haven't used Blender in a while since I've been gone, and I'm forgetting, like, is it 0? Yeah, it is 0. 0, because I want to see what the camera is actually seeing. So I'm using that camera. I want to switch to this camera. Set active camera. I want the front. Okay, so that actually looks pretty good. I do say so myself, that looks pretty good. Okay, so let me zoom out. Oh, it's already starting with Blender. Frame all, will that work? Yeah, that'll work. Sometimes it just does random things to confuse you. I'm pretty sure that's built into Blender. Okay, so focal length, back it up a little bit, probably a lot of it, and we'll move it up. And it looks straight, but I don't think he's... Let's see, if I do 1, no, the camera looks like it's actually off center. That would be the center. Why is the camera off center? Okay. So that's pretty good. I think I do want to back up so I see the whole thing though. Okay. I think that looks good. We'll move it up so it's right in the middle. Perfect. So obviously we're seeing, I haven't done anything with the skin or the textures yet, or the materials I should say, but it looks pretty good. I'm gonna go ahead and save as, and this is gonna be Aqua Alien, and we'll save it right in here. Okay, looks cool. So the eyes, they're going to be glossy, super glossy. The teeth are also going to be fairly glossy. I should put an ice pack on my computer because it's a bit loud. Okay, I'm back, and I don't remember what I was doing, but I know that I want to put a little bit of subsurface on the teeth. So I'll do a little bit of weight and a little bit of scale. Okay, so now for the body and the head. Okay, let's see if I can remember how to add these nodes. Add color ramp, add ambient occlusion, which is my, wait a minute, I don't think this is the right thing, is it? Maybe it is. Ambient occlusion, I think color goes to FAC, I believe. Add diffuse, and then add, whoops, add mix shader. Oh, I think that's the wrong one. Add mix shader. Emission? Is it this? Oh yeah, I think that's correct. I think that's correct. Okay, so I'm just going to, well, first I need to I'm going to turn this down so it's not so glossy, or turn the roughness up. Okay, so roughness is up, so that's better. Oh, I need to connect these, don't I? Oh, mix shader goes in between these. I remember that. Color goes to FAC. And we won't do diffuse yet. But right now, we're just dealing with this. So I think we have to switch these. There we go. So now I can see the shadow. Alright, doesn't need that much shadow, so we'll put it to around here. That looks good. But the only problem is the shadow is black, so that's why we use diffuse. We plug that in here, the shadows will become white, as you can see. Let me see how many samples this is using. Let's do 150 in the viewport. So now we need to take this color. Oh, this is so small. So this will be the color of the shadow. So we want to do a darker color, maybe purple-ish. Not that much saturation, but darkness. Okay, I dig that. Let's also adjust the subsurface. And the scale. Okay, so now the skin, so we worked on the skin, which I like, and let's go to the material. Let's save this as Aqua Alien Skin. So we can go to the floor, and we can add the same thing. Aqua Alien Skin. So now it's the same. We can probably do the same for this too. Why not? For now, we can always remove it later if we want. So the mushrooms will be the same. All right, so we do have these other pieces. Let's spin this around. Zoom in a bit here. Definitely don't want this that shiny. I don't want this that shiny either. But I feel like this would have a lot of subsurface. Okay. Let's go back to 0. The eyebrows would be roughness all the way up. Turn the specular down so there's no light bounces at all. Okay, so now these two. I should include the eye, but I'm not sure. But I want to make this an emission, which is emit light. So then the color I want to do, we'll do like a greenish. And we'll up the strength a little bit. Not too crazy. So this will be glow green. You know, for the eyes, let's just keep it glow green. We'll keep that glow green as well. So let's go to 0. Oh, I love it. I think it looks cool. I do wish I would have had some texture in Nomad, actually. But doesn't matter, I love it. Okay, so now, well, let me add a little subsurface to this as well. Just a smidge, just a little. Okay, so let's zoom out. Let's see what our camera sees. That looks great. I can't see the back though. So let's go to the camera, the main camera that we're using. Let's hide the other cameras. Clear up some of that space. Let's hit a quick save. So in this camera, we are perspective. I just want to see what it looks like if we change the angle a bit. Okay, it looks cool, but you still can't see the back of the head. I like that. I like this though. And the lights look pretty good. And these are the same type of lights that I do for Nomad. They're not the same lights, but they're set up the same way. I feel like this should be a bit cooler, actually. The only problem is I have some ambient occlusion set up to it, but still I think the base color might look better. Even that looks good. We can change this to something a little more purpley as well. Okay, so this is the main key. So now it's just a matter of seeing if I want to adjust any of the lights a little bit. That looks pretty good. You're not really getting much on the front of his face though. I was trying to just rotate it a little bit. And I'm going to change from local to global so I can just move it front and back and it's not contingent on the direction of the light. That's a little bit better. I like a little bit of that. You want a little bit of that light hitting the front of his face as well. It would actually be better. I do think he might need a little more light in the front. So there's a few ways to do that. We could think about just adjusting the overall light of the scene, making it a little brighter. For example, if you bring it up here, obviously, like, it gets very bright. Usually I like a more dark scene, but it's tricky when you're just kind of studying it so closely. It gets a little bit tricky. What looks good and what doesn't. But I think that's a good median. I think that's a pretty good median. Excuse me. So this light also, so when you look at the light, this light is very cool. I don't know if I want this light to be a bit warmer. I think I like that. Obviously there's lights. Let's see what this light looks like if it's a bit cooler. It's kind of nice. Maybe not as bright. I could lower the intensity or I could just lower the actual color. I think I like that. This I might want a little bit more, a little bit thinner, I think. And maybe a little bit smaller even. It's quite a big light. And also it's a little low. Maybe I want a bit more. I want to go back to local. That way I can just push it straight up and just see the difference. So if it's hitting a little more of the top of his head as well. I think that looks good. I'm going to bring this down to 120. I think that looks pretty good. Okay, so I want to see if I might want to add another small light in front of his face. Because, like, I'm not really seeing. Let's just go to global. We'll make this smaller. I just want to see his face a little bit better. So I think this light will help that. I spend so much time on his little teeth and stuff like that. I want to be able to see them. So I think that's good. I like soft fall off. I'm going to change this to 15. And I want to make sure multiple importance is unchecked. And actually, maybe I'll move it a little bit over this way. Okay, I think that works. So I'm gonna hit save. And then I think, oh, there is something else that we have to do. So let's go back to the camera. Okay, depth of field is checked, so we need to check the depth of field. So let's change it from cycles to Eevee. Zoom in really tight or close. As you can see, it doesn't really look that sharp. So now in the camera, we need to adjust the depth of field. So let's put this down really low, like to 1. And let's find that sharpness. Okay, that looks pretty much in focus. So now we can bring this back up, maybe to 2. Let's go back to cycles and just kind of pause and just make sure that it's also in focus in cycles, because I've learned that sometimes they don't always match up. Like this doesn't look as clear as I would have wanted to look here. I guess it is pretty clear. Okay, I'm gonna assume that it is in focus. I think it looks great. So I'm gonna save. I'm gonna go to my lights and make sure that both sets of lights are on. Otherwise, if something is off, then it won't render. So now we'll just see how it looks. So this will take a minute, but we'll see how it looks. So I'm going to render. Let's see how big this is. It's huge. I'm going to render the image and we'll see what happens. Okay, so 200 samples. It's very big. So it's going to take some time to render, but hopefully it looks good. All right, so I will, I'll show you the final. I might turn him a little bit. I might do some fun things to him. That sounded weird. I might like change the lights, change the lighting. But other than that, it's just a sitting game, a waiting game, since my computer is slow. Yeah, so here's the render. And I appreciate you hanging out with me. It's always a pleasure. And I think I might be able to get another video out of this, because we can always do some fun stuff to 3D sculpts. All right, I'll catch you guys in the next one. Thank you guys so much for watching the video. Be sure to like and subscribe. And if you want to go more in depth, then definitely check out my Skillshare classes, where I am a top teacher. I have about 50 classes, both Procreate and Nomad Sculpt. I also have a few classes on Udemy. So if you want to learn more, or you just like my style, you like the way I teach, you want to support me, those are some other places that you can do it. Thanks again. Keep drawing, keep sculpting. I'll see you all in the next video.